Hello everybody. I ended up doing a lightning round of some random thoughts that I had about the movie Ghostbusters that didn't end up making it into the final video because it was 6 minutes long, at which point it seemed silly to call it a lightning round. But I still wanted to have these thoughts like out there, floating in the internet somewhere. Just so you know, I don't really spoil anything that you can't discern from the trailers or just from the general discussion that has followed since the movie came out. But if you don't want to know anything at all about the movie, maybe come back to this later. Let's get started. There was no romantic subplot of any kind. It was great. You could really tell that the movie was not concerned about the male gaze. Holtzman kind of reminded me of what I'm like when I don't take my medicine, and so kind of made me think she might be not neurotypical. That is not some sort of thorough analysis or anything. It's more just one of those things where it's like, you only think that character's attention deficit because you are. You got me. You figured it out. Good job. Kristen Wiig's character, Erin, likes Chris Hemsworth's character, Kevin, a lot. And I think her behavior is mostly harmless and subversive, but I do like that it's seen as a joke. Like, the characters will occasionally remind Erin that she's acting inappropriately towards Kevin. I like that she's called out on her inappropriate behavior. I laughed a lot during this movie. This movie wasn't a girl power movie, and it wasn't a I'm a woman and I'm learning to love myself movie either, and it was so awesome. There was no reason that they had to be women. They were not women because they had to tell a story about sexism. They were female characters because women exist, and it was beautiful. I loved it. Yes, girls get to see themselves as scientists. I've seen that picture. It adds years to my life. It clears my skin. It's great. It also makes me happy that boys watching this movie might have the same realization. Girls can be scientists, and girls can be cool, and girls can be tough. That's awesome to me. A lot of people complained that the movie doesn't have any male characters for young boys to look up to, because I guess the 1984 Ghostbusters movie and any other action movie suddenly doesn't exist anymore. What happened to them? Where'd they go? You could also just tell young boys to look up to girls the way that girls are expected to look up to men. Just saying. The villain wasn't totally developed. I didn't really need him to be, honestly. I liked that he was a commentary on basically entitled mediocre men. I liked that. It was nice. Slow motion fight scenes. Yes. The movie was at its best when it was doing something original. That being said, I did enjoy all the references. Kate McKinnon's character, Gillian Holtzman, is gay. So is Kate McKinnon. She's the first openly lesbian SNL cast member, actually. And while it was never said in the movie, it's pretty much been confirmed. It's obvious to me. I would normally be much more upset that they didn't say it in the movie, but that's usually because a movie will force heteronormativity down my throat. And this movie didn't. Romance was just completely absent from the entire movie, so it didn't bother me as much. Holtzman flirts with Erin the entire movie. There were a lot of justified complaints from black women in particular about Patty's portrayal in the trailer that came out. Those were completely justified, but Patty, in my opinion, was nothing like she was portrayed in the trailer. It was very misleading. Unlike Winston from the original movie, it was clear that Patty was not a token character. She doesn't just show up for a little bit and then not do anything. She's there after like 20 minutes when you're in the movie, and she's there for the entire time, and you see her do things and contribute to the team. It's obvious. To me, Patty was a really great character. Then again, I am a white woman, but I'm sure that black women might feel differently. I'll get to that a little later in the next part. I really loved all the cameos. They were so much fun that I have a difficult time picking out which one was my favorite. Harold Ramis's cameo was quick and very meaningful. He tragically died 2 years ago in 2014. He was one of the original Ghostbusters. His daughter wrote a really touching article about the new Ghostbusters movie, and it just gave me so many emotions. Oh my god, it's so good. Now on to things I wasn't too hot about. Third act is a little all over the place. Then again, so is Finding Dory's third act. What are you gonna do? There were some things that happened and I felt like they only happened because the plot needed them to happen, because it was convenient. Some of the jokes went on a little too long. The movie, for the most part, does a pretty good job of not othering Patty, but it does happen a few times. When Katie Dippold was writing the script originally, she had Melissa McCarthy in mind for that part, but Leslie Jones ultimately ended up getting it. Still, it's not a great excuse for not making her a scientist, you know? I basically just wanted more Patty. Leslie Jones was great. She was hysterical. I wanted more. It's a little sad that we went with the same racial diversity ratio in the main cast as we did with the 1984 Ghostbusters movie, when literally the time when we see the most non-white people in the entire movie in one shot is when the Ghostbusters get thrown in jail. I'm not kidding. I'm hoping with the creation of Ghost Corps and the subsequent movies that Sony is working on now, we're going to see more women of color color, especially women of color scientists. Please give it to me. After seeing the movie, I don't need Patty to be a scientist. I thought it was obvious that she was intelligent and valuable to the team in a way that was non-STEM related, and I loved that, so I don't need her to be a scientist. I want more women of color. I want more women scientists. As much as I enjoyed all of the references and the intertextuality, there was a lot of references to the original. I really enjoyed all of them, but they could have been cut down a little bit or cut out just a few of them. The movie seemed to want to constantly remind me that I was not watching the 1984 Ghostbusters, and I'm sitting there in the theater like, I know, that's why I'm here and not at home watching the 1984 Ghostbusters. And that's all I got. To conclude, I've seen it 3 times, and I'll probably see it again before it leaves theaters. I loved it, but I know it wasn't a perfect movie in terms of filmmaking, writing, and social justice issues. All things that I hope are improved upon in the sequel. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Things you liked, things you didn't like. Subscribe for more videos every week on Disney, movie commentary, and intersectional feminism. We are approaching 1,000 subscribers. We just reached 800. We're really excited. Seems like a good a time as any to plug our social media accounts. You can follow the Princess and I on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Links down below. We'll see you soon.